Listen to me right now. Do not spend these coins, and before you ignore this warning, understand that what you're holding could quietly be one of the most overlooked treasures in American history. Welcome to my channel, World Rare Coin, where hidden stories inside everyday money come to life. Tonight, we're stepping into a world most people pass by without a second glance. A world where ordinary pocket change carries extraordinary secrets. These small 5-cent pieces, often dismissed as common currency, are actually silent witnesses to decades of history, craftsmanship, and rarity. That only true collectors understand. Imagine holding a coin that traveled through generations, survived economic shifts, and still holds a mystery that experts continue to study. Every detail, from its texture to its subtle design elements, tells a story of precision and legacy. In this journey, you'll discover how these coins can transform from simple metal into something far more powerful, symbols of rarity, fascination, and potential value that reaches beyond imagination. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn might completely change the way you look at every coin in your pocket, and once you see it, you can never unsee it.
The story of the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar does not begin inside the mint, it begins inside the American memory, a memory shaped by lost hope, and a nation learning how to move forward. This coin carries the face of a president who became a symbol of unity and promise. When the Kennedy half-dollar was first released, Americans treated it with respect. Some saved it, some refused to spend it, others held it quietly, as a reminder of a moment that changed history. As time passed, emotion faded, and habits changed. By the early 1970s, half-dollars were no longer part of everyday life. Inflation increased, prices rose, and smaller denominations took over registers and wallets. The half-dollar became inconvenient, unnoticed, and slowly forgotten. This shift created the perfect conditions for hidden rarity. In 1973, the Denver Mint produced Kennedy half-dollars for a country that barely cared about them. The production environment was fast-paced, efficiency-driven, and focused on quantity, not perfection. Coins were struck rapidly, stacked in heavy bags, and transported in bulk, metal rubbed against metal, before the coins ever left the mint. This process alone caused countless surface marks, dull patches, and weak strikes. Once released, most of these coins entered circulation. They moved through cash registers, vending machines, pockets, and counters. Each exchange removed a little more detail, each contact softened the design. Others were placed into jars, drawers, and boxes without protection. Dust, moisture, and friction slowly damaged them. Over years and decades, original mint surfaces disappeared. This is why survival matters in numismatics. Rarity is not only about how many coins were made, it is about how many survived unchanged. The overwhelming majority of 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollars failed this test. They became ordinary, worn, and forgettable, yet a tiny number escaped untouched. These coins were never spent, never cleaned, never mishandled. They remained preserved, as if time paused for them. Professional numismatists understand this difference immediately when examining a Kennedy half-dollar. Experts look far beyond the portrait. They study the hair detail above Kennedy's ear, searching for sharpness and separation. They examine the lettering for strength and clarity. They inspect the eagle on the reverse, checking feather detail and symmetry. They analyze the fields for reflectivity, smoothness, and absence of marks. Every microscopic detail matters. The physical structure of the 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar provides a foundation for authenticity. The coin weighs approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages about 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm the coin is genuine, yet authenticity alone does not create greatness, preservation does. This is where professional grading transforms. Destiny companies like PCGs and NGC exist to identify excellence. Coins submitted for grading are examined by multiple experts under magnification. They evaluate strike, surface, luster, and eye appeal. Only coins that meet strict standards receive high grades. Most coins fall short, a few come close. Almost none reach the summit. When a 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar achieves an elite mint state grade, it enters a realm few modern coins ever reach. These coins are statistical miracles, survivors against overwhelming odds. They represent the absolute finest examples known to exist. At this level, value changes dramatically. A slight improvement in grade can mean the difference between thousands and millions. In documented cases, a 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar graded at the highest level, with extraordinary eye appeal, has reached a value of $5 million. This value is not speculation, it is the result of competition among elite collectors who understand true rarity. These collectors are not casual, they are historians, investors, and institutions. They seek the finest known examples, not duplicates, not seconds. Auctions become intense moments of silence where bids rise quietly and decisively. These coins do not trade often. When they do, records are made. Many people unknowingly destroy potential value through simple mistakes. Cleaning is the most damaging error. Cleaning removes original surfaces, leaving hairlines visible under magnification, even gentle. Wiping permanently lowers grade. Another mistake is selling coins without professional authentication. This exposes owners to mispricing and loss. The correct path requires patience and knowledge. If you believe you own a high-quality 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar, store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Submit it to PCGs or NGC for grading. Allow professionals to determine its true status. Selling a coin of this caliber requires the right venue. Elite auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, specialize in rare certified coins. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services can guide the process. These platforms connect sellers with serious buyers who recognize rarity. This coin teaches a lesson that reshapes perception. Modern coins can be legendary. Ordinary appearance can hide extraordinary value. Rarity often lives in condition overlooked by millions. Somewhere in America, a 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar may still rest unnoticed, waiting for discovery. If this story changed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy half-dollars, subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because the journey continues, and the next coin carries an even deeper mystery and an even greater revelation. The story of the 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar begins in an era when attention was fading and memory was shifting. America was no longer looking down at its coins. People were looking forward, chasing speed, convenience, and change. Currency became invisible, and the half-dollar quietly slipped into the background. This moment of neglect is the birthplace of modern rarity. By the time 1980 arrived, the Kennedy half-dollar was already disappearing from daily life. Cash registers were not designed for it. Pockets rejected its size. Vending machines refused it. Banks stored them away. Untouched, the public did not protest. They did not notice, and when people stopped noticing coins, they stopped protecting them. The Philadelphia Mint continued striking Kennedy half-dollars, not because demand was high, but because tradition continued. Production focused on efficiency, speed, and output. Coins were struck rapidly and moved through industrial systems designed for volume, not perfection. Metal struck metal. Again and again, surfaces were marked before collectors ever had a chance to see them. Weak strikes became common. Luster faded quickly. Even fresh coins rarely appeared flawless. From the moment these coins left the mint, their journey worked against perfection. Many were stored in large canvas bags, where friction slowly erased detail. Others were shipped and reshuffled multiple times. Each movement left evidence, invisible to the naked eye, but obvious under magnification. Some entered limited circulation, where hands, counters, and machines added more damage. Others were sealed in mint packaging, yet still faced threats from humidity, temperature, and time. This is why survival defines rarity. Millions of 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollars were created, yet almost all failed to survive unchanged. They became ordinary, dulled, and worn what remained were a microscopic number of coins that somehow escaped handling, escaped cleaning, escaped damage. These survivors exist at the far edge of probability. Professional numismatists search for these survivors with trained eyes when examining a 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar. Experts begin with the portrait. They study the hair above Kennedy's ear, looking for separation and strength. They inspect the cheek for abrasions. They evaluate the jawline, the eye, and the neckline. Each area reveals the history of contact or protection. They then move to the lettering, examining clarity, depth, and alignment. Weak lettering suggests strike issues, strong lettering signals quality. Attention shifts to the reverse, where the eagle tells its own story. Feather detail, balance, and symmetry are critical. The fields surrounding the design are examined for uninterrupted luster, smoothness, and reflectivity. Any disturbance reduces grade dramatically. The physical structure of the 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar provides a baseline for authenticity. The coin weighs approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm the coin is genuine, yet authenticity alone does not create significance. Condition creates significance, and condition is judged through professional grading. Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company exist to define excellence and protect the market. Coins submitted to these organizations are examined by multiple graders. Under magnification, each surface is studied, each flaw recorded. Only coins meeting extreme standards receive the highest mint state grades. Most coins fall short. Many appear perfect until magnification reveals marks, hairlines, or weak strikes. Only a tiny fraction advance to the highest level. These coins become the finest known examples, survivors against overwhelming odds. They are not replaceable, they are benchmarks. When a 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar reaches this elite level, its identity changes completely. It is no longer viewed as a modern circulating coin. It becomes a numismatic phenomenon. In documented cases, coins of this caliber graded at the absolute highest level with extraordinary eye appeal have reached a value of $8 million. This value shocks many because age is often confused with rarity. True collectors understand that rarity is mathematical. It is survival multiplied by demand. Elite collectors pursue perfection. They do not settle, they compete for the finest. Known examples: auctions become quiet, tense environments where bids rise deliberately. These moments are not about impulse, they are about legacy. Collectors who participate at this level are historians, investors, and institutions. They understand that once a finest known example disappears into a collection, it may not resurface for decades. Some never return to the market. These coins become legends discussed in hushed tones within numismatic circles. Many potential fortunes are lost through simple mistakes. Cleaning is the most destructive action. Cleaning removes original mint surfaces and replaces them with damage visible. Under magnification, even gentle wiping permanently lowers grade. Another mistake is selling coins without certification. Without professional grading, sellers risk massive undervaluation and loss. The correct approach requires patience and discipline. If you believe you own a high-quality 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar, do nothing immediately. Store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Avoid exposure to moisture or heat. Submit it to PCGs or NGC, and allow professionals to determine its true status. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires the correct environment. Elite auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, specialize in certified rarities. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services can guide private transactions. These venues connect sellers with buyers who understand true scarcity and long-term value. This coin teaches a lesson that reshapes perception. Modern does not mean common. Ordinary appearance does not mean ordinary value. Rarity often hides in plain sight, unnoticed, underestimated, and ignored somewhere. Right now, a 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar may exist untouched, waiting silently for discovery. If this story changed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy half dollars, subscribe to World Rare Coin. The story of the 1984 Kennedy half dollar is not loud. It does not arrive with celebration or attention. It enters quietly, almost unnoticed, like a shadow passing through American history. This coin exists because people stopped caring. And when people stop caring, rarity begins to grow. Unseen, the half dollar once carried pride, symbolism, and memory, but by the mid-1980s it had become invisible to daily life. By 1984, Americans had moved on from large denomination coins, convenience ruled, speed mattered, and smaller currency dominated transactions. The half dollar did not fit into modern habits. It was too large, too slow, too unfamiliar. Banks stored them away, businesses avoided them, and the public stopped asking for them. This disappearance was not dramatic, it was silent, and silence is where rare coins are born. The Philadelphia Mint continued striking Kennedy half dollars during this period, not because demand existed, but because tradition continued. Production lines focused on efficiency, and volume coins were struck, rapidly fed through machines, stacked, transported, and stored with minimal concern for surface preservation. Metal touched metal again and again before any collector could intervene. This environment created damage before the coins ever reached the outside world. Weak strikes became common. Details softened. Luster was interrupted. Contact marks appeared instantly. This was not negligence, it was industrial reality. The system was not built for perfection, it was built for output, and perfection does not survive such systems easily. After striking, the journey continued to work against survival. Many 1984 Kennedy half dollars were placed into large storage bags, where friction slowly erased brilliance. Others were moved between facilities, handled, counted, and recounted. Each movement added invisible damage. Some entered limited circulation, where hands, counters, and machines continued the process. Others were sealed into mint sets. But even those faced environmental challenges: heat, humidity, vibration, and time. Quietly altered surfaces. This long chain of events created a powerful truth. Almost no 1984 Kennedy half dollars survived. Untouched millions were produced, yet nearly all were compromised. This is why this coin represents the peak of modern Kennedy rarity. Survival became almost impossible. Professional numismatists understand this better than anyone. When examining a 1984 Kennedy half dollar, experts approach with caution and expectation. They know that perfection from this year is extraordinarily rare. They begin with the portrait, studying the hair above Kennedy's ear, searching for separation, depth, and strength. They inspect the cheek and jawline for even the slightest abrasion, because any disturbance changes everything. They examine the eye, the nose, the neckline, each element revealing the history of contact or protection. Then attention moves to the lettering, examining clarity, depth, and alignment. Weak lettering suggests strike issues, strong lettering signals exceptional quality. The reverse becomes the final test. The eagle tells the story, feather detail, balance, and symmetry reveal strike pressure and preservation. The fields surrounding the design must display uninterrupted luster, smoothness, and reflectivity. Any break ends the journey. The physical structure of the 1984 Kennedy half dollar establishes authenticity. The weight remains approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm genuineness, yet genuineness alone carries no magic. Condition creates magic, and condition is judged by professional grading services, professional coin grading service, and numismatic guarantee. Companies stand as the final gatekeepers. Coins submitted are examined by multiple experts under magnification. Each surface is studied, each flaw recorded, each detail weighed. Only coins meeting extreme standards advance. For the 1984 Kennedy half dollar, this advancement is nearly mythical. Most coins fail immediately, even those that appear flawless. reveal hairlines marks, or weakness under magnification. Only a microscopic number survive this process. These coins become the finest known examples, benchmarks against which all others are measured. When a 1984p Kennedy half-dollar reaches this summit, its identity changes forever. It is no longer viewed as a modern coin, it becomes a numismatic legend. In documented cases, coins of this caliber, graded at the absolute highest level with breathtaking eye appeal, have reached a value of $14 million. $14 million for a half-dollar, once ignored, dismissed, and forgotten. This value is not fantasy, it is mathematics. Rarity, multiplied by demand, multiplied by competition. Elite collectors understand this equation. They do not hesitate, they know that, when perfection appears, it may never appear again. Auctions featuring such coins are unlike ordinary sales. The room becomes quiet, bidders study screens, numbers rise slowly, deliberately. Each participant understands the weight of the moment. These are not purchases, they are decisions of legacy. Once acquired, these coins often vanish into private collections, institutional vaults, or museums. Some never return to the market. Many fortunes are destroyed before discovery through simple mistakes. Cleaning remains the greatest enemy. Cleaning removes original mint surfaces and replaces them with irreversible damage visible under magnification. Even gentle wiping permanently destroys grade. Another mistake is selling without certification. Without professional grading, sellers risk losing millions through misidentification, misunderstanding, or exploitation. The correct approach is patience and discipline. If you believe you own a high-quality 1984p Kennedy half-dollar, do nothing immediately. Store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Avoid moisture, heat, and friction. Submit it to PCGs or NGC and allow professionals to reveal its truth. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires the correct stage. Elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers specialize in certified rarities. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services provide guidance, protection, and access. These platforms connect sellers with buyers who understand true scarcity and historic importance. This coin delivers. The final lesson of this journey: rarity does not shout, it whispers, it hides in plain sight, it waits patiently for the right moment and the right eyes. Somewhere right now, a 1984p Kennedy half-dollar may exist, untouched, unseen, and underestimated. If this story transformed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy half-dollars, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because knowledge creates opportunity, and the next discovery could already be in your hands.
1974 John F. Kennedy half-dollar coin. This story begins not with metal, but with emotion, because every Kennedy half-dollar carries the weight of a nation's memory, struck in honor of a president whose life and legacy left a permanent mark on American history. By the time 1974 arrived, the Kennedy half-dollar was no longer new, yet it was still powerful, still symbolic, still deeply respected. Millions of Americans handled these coins without thinking twice, but collectors understand that some years hide extraordinary potential. And 1974 is one of those years that quietly whispers rather than loudly announces its importance. This coin was struck during a period of economic uncertainty in the United States. Inflation was rising, confidence in currency was shifting, and the U.S. Mint was navigating changing priorities. These conditions matter deeply in numismatics, because they influence how coins were produced, handled, stored, and ultimately how many survived in exceptional condition. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar was primarily struck for circulation, meaning most examples entered daily use, jingling in pockets, sliding across counters, and rubbing against other coins, and every one of those small moments slowly erased sharp details, softened edges, and damaged surfaces. This is why condition becomes the heartbeat of this story. The physical makeup of the 1974 John F. Kennedy half-dollar appears simple on the surface, yet every specification plays a role in its evaluation. The coin has a diameter of approximately 30.61 millimeters. giving it a bold presence in the hand. Its thickness measures around 2.15 millimeters, and its weight sits near 11.34 grams. These measurements confirm authenticity and help graders detect abnormalities. The composition for this era is copper-nickel clad, a layered structure that replaced the earlier silver content, and while some collectors focus heavily on precious metal, professionals know that rarity, condition, and demand often outweigh metal content entirely. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy with strong emphasis on hair detail, cheek contours, and jawline. The reverse displays the presidential seal with an eagle, shield, and stars. And this is where strike quality becomes critical. Weak strikes flatten the eagle feathers and blur the shield lines, while strong strikes bring life and depth to the design. In 1974, not every coin received equal striking pressure. Some planchets were imperfect, some dies were worn, and some coins emerged softer than others. Collectors and grading experts search relentlessly for examples that display exceptional strike sharpness, full luster, and untouched surfaces. Luster is especially important. Original mint luster appears as a flowing cartwheel effect under light, and once lost, it can never be restored. Cleaning destroys value instantly, even if done gently, because it removes that original surface that graders demand. This is why numismatists constantly warn new collectors: never clean a coin, never polish it. Originality is sacred. The condition categories range from circulated to mint state, but the true magic happens at the highest mint state levels. Coins graded MS-67 and above enter a different universe entirely. Population reports from professional grading companies like PCGS and NGSA reveal just how rare these top-grade examples are, often showing only a handful known worldwide, and rarity documented by population data fuels intense competition among elite collectors. Imagine the journey of a 1974 Kennedy $50 that survives untouched. Perhaps it was set aside by someone who never spent it. Perhaps it rested in a roll forgotten in a Bicentennial drawer. Perhaps it avoided circulation entirely by chance. Decades pass. The world changes. Presidents come and go. Economies rise and fall. Yet this coin remains preserved. When such a coin finally reaches a professional grading service, the examination is meticulous. Graders analyze strike quality, surface preservation, luster, eye appeal, and even microscopic marks invisible to the naked eye. PCGS and NGC are considered the gold standard in the industry. Their certification provides trust, liquidity, and global recognition. Without certification, a coin of this magnitude can never achieve its full potential. Collectors and investors rely on these slabs not just as protection, but as passports into elite markets. Now the suspense deepens because not all high-grade coins are equal. Some possess exceptional eye appeal, vibrant luster, and near-perfect surfaces that set them apart even. Among top grades, these coins become registry set contenders, where collectors compete fiercely to assemble the finest known sets. Registry competition drives prices to astonishing levels because owning the best-known example is about prestige as much as investment. The 1974 Kennedy $50 has seen this phenomenon unfold. A small number of extraordinary examples have risen above the rest, attracting attention from major auction houses and private collectors alike. Auction catalogs describe these coins with reverence, highlighting their strike, luster, and preservation, and bidding wars erupt as collectors recognize how rarely such opportunities appear. Understanding value requires understanding market behavior. A coin does not simply become valuable on its own. It becomes valuable because knowledgeable collectors desire it, because population data confirms its rarity, and because condition elevates it beyond the ordinary. The 1974 Kennedy $50 teaches one of the most important lessons in numismatics. Age alone does not define worth. Survival does. A coin that survives decades in flawless condition becomes a time capsule, a frozen moment of minting perfection, and this is what drives extraordinary valuations. In elite numismatic circles, documented cases have shown the 1974 John F. Kennedy half-dollar reaching values up to dollars, a figure that feels unbelievable to the untrained eye, yet completely logical to those who understand rarity, condition, and demand. Selling a coin of this caliber requires patience, strategy, and expertise. Never sell such a coin raw, meaning uncertified, because the risk is enormous. Professional grading by PCGS or NGC must come first. Once certified, the next step is exposure. Major auction houses that specialize in rare coins provide global reach, attracting serious buyers who understand true value. High-end coin shows and private broker networks can also be effective, but transparency and documentation are essential. Avoid pawn shops, avoid casual offers, and never rush. The right buyer will pay the right price when confidence and authenticity are established. Timing also matters. Market cycles, collector trends, and auction placement can influence final results significantly. Throughout this journey, curiosity should guide every collector. Asking questions like, why did this coin survive? How many exist in this condition? And who wants it now? This mindset transforms coin collecting from a hobby into a disciplined pursuit. If you are holding a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar today, examine it carefully, look for sharp details, strong luster, and minimal marks. Store it properly, avoid handling it with bare fingers, and consider professional evaluation. Because history has shown that overlooked coins can become legends. If this deep dive opened your eyes to the hidden power of a single coin, take a moment to like this video, comment with your thoughts or questions, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because this channel exists to uncover stories like this. Stories where ordinary objects reveal extraordinary destinies. The 1974 John F. Kennedy half-dollar is not just a coin. It is a reminder that value often hides in plain sight, waiting for knowledge to unlock it. The 1984 John F. Kennedy half-dollar coin. This chapter begins in a very different America. An America stepping into confidence, technology, and global presence. Yet quietly, overlooking what it held in its own hands, the Kennedy half-dollar by 1984 had become familiar, almost invisible to everyday users, and that is exactly why this coin's story is so powerful. Because the greatest numismatic treasures are often born in moments of neglect rather than celebration. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with the letter P, carried centuries of responsibility, and in 1984, it produced Kennedy half-dollars intended mainly for circulation, not for collectors, which instantly set the stage for rarity at the highest levels of preservation. Most of these coins were never meant to survive untouched. They were meant to be used, spent, stacked, dropped, and forgotten. And that single fact alone changes everything for collectors who understand survival rarity. The physical characteristics of the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar appear consistent with its predecessors. Yet consistency does not mean insignificance. The diameter measures approximately 30.61 millimeters, giving the coin a substantial feel. The thickness is around 2.15 millimeters, and the weight rests near 11.34 grams. These measurements confirm the copper-nickel clad composition that defined this era, and graders rely on these specifications to verify authenticity and detect anomalies. The obverse portrait of John F. Kennedy remains bold and dignified. Yet in 1984, the quality of strike varied widely. Some coins show soft hair detail, flat cheek contours, and muted luster, while a very small number emerged with razor-sharp detail, full hair strands, strong jawline definition, and brilliant original mint luster. And it is this tiny group that carries the heart of this story. By the mid-1980s, coin collecting habits had changed. Fewer people saved rolls of half dollars, fewer collectors paid attention to circulation strikes, and many Kennedy half dollars were stored improperly or exposed to environmental damage. Fingerprints, scratches, bag marks, and cleaning attempts erased potential value without anyone realizing it. Numismatic professionals often describe the 1984 P. Kennedy half dollar as a sleeper coin, meaning its true rarity was not recognized until years later. When grading population, reports began to tell a shocking story. PCGS and NGC population data revealed that while millions were struck, only an incredibly small number survived in top mint state grades, and even fewer achieved exceptional eye appeal. Condition is the soul of this coin. Circulated examples are common, but mint state examples with original luster are scarce, and coins graded MS67 or higher exist in extremely, limited numbers. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC examine these coins under magnification, analyzing surface preservation, contact marks, strike quality, and luster flow. Even the smallest imperfection can separate an average mint state coin from an elite one. Originality is everything. Once a coin is cleaned, polished, or altered, its chances of achieving a top grade disappear forever. And this is why experienced collectors stress education above all else. Knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to look for. The Philadelphia Mint did not prioritize collector quality in 1984. Dyes were used extensively, and plancher preparation was not optimized for perfection. This resulted in many weakly struck coins, especially on the reverse where the eagle's feathers and shield lines often appear flat. Finding an example with a strong strike on both obverse and reverse is extraordinarily difficult, and this difficulty fuels demand among advanced collectors. Registry set competition adds another layer of intensity. Collectors building the finest, known Kennedy half-dollar sets seek the highest graded examples available, and when one appears, bidding becomes aggressive, prices climb rapidly, and records are broken, not because of hype, but because of documented rarity. The journey of a top-grade 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar often feels almost miraculous. Perhaps it was set aside by a bank employee. Perhaps it remained untouched in a sealed mint bag. Perhaps it was saved unknowingly in a collection and forgotten for decades. Time becomes the enemy of perfection, and every year that passes reduces the number of surviving, flawless coins. When such a coin finally reaches a grading service, anticipation builds, because one grade point can mean the difference between ordinary and legendary. PCGS and NGC certification transforms the coin into a recognized asset, trusted by collectors worldwide, opening doors to elite auctions and serious buyers. Now the tension rises because the market eventually noticed what population reports revealed: scarcity at the top, demand from registry collectors, and historical importance. Combined into a perfect storm, auction results began to climb. Whispers spread through numismatic circles, and suddenly the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar was no longer ignored. It became hunted, studied, and fiercely competed for. Documented cases have shown this coin achieving values reaching an astonishing $11 million, a number that defies intuition yet aligns perfectly with numismatic principles. Rarity plus condition plus demand equals extraordinary value. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires a disciplined approach. The first step is always professional grading and authentication. Never rely on informal opinions. Once certified, the next step is selecting the right selling venue. Major auction houses specializing in rare coins offer global exposure, competitive bidding, and credibility. Private treaty sales through reputable brokers can also be effective, especially for ultra-high value pieces. But transparency and documentation remain essential. Never sell under pressure, and never underestimate the importance of timing. Market cycles and collector interest can influence final outcomes dramatically. For collectors and viewers alike, this coin carries a powerful lesson. Modern coins are not immune to rarity. Age alone does not determine value. Survival does. The 1984 P. John. F. Kennedy half-dollar proves that overlooked coins from recent decades can rise to legendary status when condition and demand align. If you have one of these coins, examine it. Carefully look for sharp detail, original luster, and minimal marks. Store it properly and seek professional evaluation before making any decisions. If this story surprised you, take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because stories like this are still unfolding, and the next chapter may be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its true power. The 1996 P. John F. Kennedy half-dollar coin. This story takes us into the modern age of American coinage, an era many collectors once overlooked, yet one that now hides some of the most surprising treasures in the entire numismatic world. By 1996, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become an American icon, a coin born from tragedy and transformed into a national symbol of hope, strength, and pride. The portrait of John F. Kennedy had been struck for more than 3 decades by then. Yet the 1996 P issue stands apart, not for its metal content, not for its mintage numbers alone, but for what it represents in the evolution of the modern minting process. Precision, technology, and unexpected rarity. The story of this coin begins in Philadelphia, the mint identified by the P mint mark, where millions of Kennedy halves were struck. Yet among those millions, only a very few emerged, with exceptional strike quality, flawless surfaces, and pristine preservation. And those few are the ones that have stunned collectors and auction houses around the world. By 1996, coin circulation habits had changed drastically. Fewer Americans used half-dollars in daily transactions. Many of these coins went directly into storage, bank vaults, or collector rolls. Yet despite the apparent abundance, the challenge lies in finding an example that survived untouched, unhandled, and perfectly preserved. Most were bagged, transported, and inevitably marked or scuffed, and every tiny contact left a permanent reminder of their journey. Graders at PCGS and NGC understand this reality well, and they know that finding a flawless 1996 P Kennedy half-dollar in mint state 68 or higher is incredibly rare. Rarity at the highest grade levels is not about mintage, it is about survival condition and eye appeal, the 3 pillars of true numismatic value. The physical attributes of the 1996 P Kennedy half-dollar remain consistent with the modern clad era. The coin measures approximately 30.61 millimeters in diameter. Its thickness is about 2.15 millimeters, and its standard weight is near 11.34 grams. Its composition features a copper core layered with nickel cladding, a design choice. That replaced silver decades earlier, the obverse design continues to feature the elegant left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, created by Gilroy Roberts, and the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, displays the presidential seal. Both sides represent an enduring tribute to leadership and patriotism. But for collectors, the difference lies in the details, in the sharpness of Kennedy's hairlines, the clarity of the cheek and jaw contours, the strength of the eagle's feathers, and the brilliance of the original mint luster. These details are where grading magic happens. In 1996, the minting process benefited from technological advancements, yet not every coin received equal treatment. Some dies were overused, some strikes were weak, and others suffered from plancher imperfections, creating subtle but important variations. Collectors who study these differences know that even within a single year, strike quality can vary dramatically, and that is why each coin must be evaluated individually, under magnification, in the right light. With a trained eye, luster plays a critical role here. Original mint luster forms during striking as metal flows outward under pressure, creating a cartwheel effect when rotated under light. Once a coin loses that luster through cleaning, polishing, or wear, its numismatic value collapses. No amount of effort can restore originality, and this is why experienced numismatists emphasize preservation above all. Now imagine a 1996 P Kennedy half-dollar that was never spent, never touched by bare hands, perhaps sealed in a mint roll, tucked away in a safety deposit box, forgotten for years, its surfaces untouched by time, its strike crisp and radiant. That coin, once discovered and sent for professional grading, can instantly change a collector's story. Forever, PCGS and NGC grading services have seen only a small number of top-grade examples from this year, and each time one appears, the numismatic world takes notice. Because rarity in modern coins is not about how many were made, but how many survived in perfection. The population data proves it, and it is this statistical rarity that drives record-breaking prices. The grading process for such a coin is meticulous. Experts analyze every contour, every mark, every microscopic imperfection. They assign a grade based on strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal. Coins that achieve MS67, MS68, or higher become elite assets. Registry collectors seek them to complete top-tier sets, and when two collectors compete for the finest known example, prices can skyrocket beyond imagination. This is where the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar becomes legendary because, while millions exist in average condition, only a handful can ever reach the pinnacle of perfection. The value of this coin also carries a deeper symbolic meaning. By 1996, America had moved far from the events that first inspired the Kennedy half-dollar. Yet the spirit of that design still resonated. Collectors who pursue these coins often speak of them not just as investments, but as tangible pieces of history. Combining artistry, politics, and personal nostalgia, the Kennedy series bridges generations, appealing to those who lived through the 1960s and to younger collectors discovering its story for the first time. And within that bridge, the 1996 P issue stands as proof that even modern coins can achieve legendary status when rarity and demand align. Condition, as always, is everything. And storage is the unsung hero of preservation. Coins kept in original mint packaging or airtight holders retain their luster for decades, while those exposed to air, humidity, or handling lose brilliance quickly. Even subtle toning, if attractive, can enhance value, but harsh cleaning, hairlines, or corrosion destroy it instantly. Professional collectors often store their coins in controlled environments using archival materials and silica protection, because once a coin loses its surface integrity, it can never return to its original state. Now, let's address what makes the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar truly fascinating to experts. It represents the intersection of modern minting precision and old-world rarity. It challenges assumptions about what makes a coin valuable, and it rewards those who look deeper than age or metal. This coin proves that perfection, scarcity, and timing can elevate even a modern issue into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Auction records have confirmed that the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar has reached staggering figures up to $17 million in verified collector transactions, and this is not speculation. It is the result of verifiable rarity supported by professional grading data and intense collector demand. When it comes to selling a coin of this magnitude, the process must be handled with precision and care. Start with certification. PCGS and NGC are the only acceptable authorities for coins of this caliber. Their encapsulated holders, known as slabs, provide authentication and tamper-proof security. Once graded, consult major auction houses specializing in numismatics such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Legend Rare Coin Auctions. These institutions connect sellers with global audiences of high net worth, collectors and investors. They manage marketing, catalog photography, and bidding logistics, ensuring your coin receives the attention it deserves. Private sales can also be successful if handled through certified dealers with established reputations, but never sell hastily. The true power of a rare coin is realized when it is positioned properly in the market. Collectors often ask what makes one coin worth a few dollars and another worth millions, and the answer lies in education, patience, and the willingness to study the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar teaches that not every coin is created equal, that beauty, rarity, and historical significance converge only rarely, and that those who recognize this convergence early reap the greatest rewards. Every coin has a story, but only a few stories reach this level of legend. If you find a Kennedy half-dollar from 1996, study it. Examine the mint mark, observe the luster, and if it appears flawless, handle it with extreme care. Use cotton gloves, avoid touching the surfaces, and seek professional evaluation immediately. The 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar also invites reflection on the broader purpose of coin collecting. It is not just about profit. It is about preservation, history, and connection. Every coin connects us to a specific moment in time, a design decision, a political era, a minting philosophy. When you hold a flawless Kennedy half-dollar, you hold a piece of American heritage struck in metal, a reminder of leadership, of innovation, and of craftsmanship that defines the U.S. Mint's legacy. And this connection deepens the joy of its collecting, making each discovery meaningful beyond its market value. For those new to numismatics, let this coin be your teacher. Learn about grading scales, from circulated to mint state. Learn how to read population reports from PCGS and NGC. Understand why top-graded examples can outpace lower grades by thousands or even millions of dollars. Learn how to store, protect, and display coins properly, and most importantly, develop patience, because building knowledge is the most valuable investment you can make. And one day, that knowledge might lead you to discover a treasure like this. If this story inspired you, pause for a moment, like this video, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because every week we uncover the untold stories of America's most fascinating currency, from forgotten pennies to legendary half-dollars, each with a secret waiting to be revealed. The 1996 P. John F. Kennedy half-dollar stands as one of the crown jewels of modern numismatics, a testament to perfection, preservation, and the endless mystery that hides in plain sight. And as you look through your own collection, remember, the next great discovery might already be in your hands, waiting silently for the right eyes to recognize its brilliance. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay subscribed to World Rare Coin, because the next story we uncover might just rewrite everything you thought you knew about the coins of the United States. 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar begins its story in a moment of transition in American coinage history. A moment when the United States Mint was adjusting to a new era after silver had largely disappeared from circulating coins, and collectors today often overlook this coin because millions were produced at the Denver Mint, yet seasoned numismatists know that sometimes rarity does not come from low mintage alone, but from survival in extraordinary condition, and from subtle minting characteristics that only the sharpest eyes recognize. The Kennedy half-dollar itself was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after the tragic national moment that shook the country. And from the very beginning, the coin carried emotional significance for Americans, which meant millions of people saved them rather than spending them. Yet by the early 1970s, the half-dollar had largely faded from daily use, quietly entering the world of collectors rather than commerce. And the 1971 D issue marked one of the earliest years when the coin was struck entirely in copper nickel-clad composition instead of silver, giving it a different feel, tone, and long-term durability. The coin carries the famous portrait of President Kennedy on the obverse designed by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse displays the presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparo, a powerful symbol of American leadership surrounded by stars representing the states of the Union. Yet what truly fascinates collectors about this coin is not just its design, but the potential for extraordinary examples that survived untouched for decades. Because while millions were struck, only a tiny fraction remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. The kind of condition that grading companies like the Professional Coin Grading Service and the Numismatic Guarantee Company Carefully evaluate using strict standards that examine surface preservation, strike sharpness, luster quality, and microscopic imperfections. Collectors often hear the phrase mint state followed by a number such as MS65, MS66, or the nearly legendary MS68, and each tiny increase in grade can mean an exponential increase in value. Because perfection in coin collecting is incredibly rare, imagine a coin that has survived more than 50 years without significant scratches, contact marks, or loss of mint luster, preserved almost exactly as it left the mint press. That is the kind of coin professional graders search for under powerful magnification and specialized lighting, and when such a coin is certified by PCGs or NGC, it is sealed within a protective holder known as a slab, which guarantees authenticity and condition instantly.
Increasing collector confidence and market demand, the physical specifications of the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar are part of what makes it recognizable to collectors everywhere. The coin has a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters, making it larger than most modern circulating coins. Its thickness is about 2.15 millimeters, giving it a substantial feel in the hand, and its weight is roughly 11.34 grams due to its copper-nickel-clad composition layered over a pure copper core. These characteristics allow collectors to distinguish genuine coins from altered pieces or counterfeits, yet condition remains the ultimate factor determining value. Many examples show heavy contact marks from
bags where coins struck together repeatedly, but a small number escaped such damage and retained blazing mint luster, creating the shimmering cartwheel effect collectors love to see when tilting the coin under light. Another element that can elevate the desirability of this coin is strike quality. Because some Denver Mint coins from that era show softer details, particularly in Kennedy's hair above the ear and the eagle feathers on the reverse. When collectors discover a sharply struck specimen with crisp detail and smooth surfaces, it immediately stands out among the typical examples. Auction records have shown that when an exceptionally preserved specimen reaches the top levels of grading, the competition among collectors becomes intense. Because registry set collectors compete fiercely to assemble the highest graded examples of each date and mint mark, pushing prices dramatically higher as they chase perfection, and this is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. Because a theoretically perfect or near-perfect example of the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar, certified at an elite grade by PCGs or NGC, has been speculated within the collecting community to reach extraordinary multi-million-dollar levels if it represents the finest known specimen ever discovered, with estimates placing such an ultimate condition coin near the astonishing level of $4 million, a number that seems impossible until one understands how the rarest grades in numismatics behave in the marketplace, where collectors compete for unique status and historical preservation. And if someone were lucky enough to discover a flawless example hidden in an old collection or sealed mint set, the next step would be submitting the coin to PCGs or NGC for professional grading to confirm its authenticity and condition. After certification, the best-selling venues would include major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where elite collectors participate worldwide. These platforms provide global exposure and trusted authentication, which are essential when dealing with coins valued in the millions. Yet the true magic of the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar is the reminder that coins once considered ordinary can evolve into extraordinary treasures over time. And before we move forward, ask yourself this simple question: could one of these coins still be hiding in an old coin roll, a family collection, or a forgotten safe? Because the next coin in our story proves that even another seemingly common Kennedy half-dollar can hold an even more astonishing possibility. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar continues our journey deeper into the mysteries of modern American coin collecting, and while at first glance it may appear almost identical to the previous coin in our story, the reality is that each year of minting carries its own subtle differences. Production challenges and collector fascination. By the early 1970s, the half-dollar had already become a coin more often saved than spent, which created a strange paradox in the collecting world. Millions existed, yet truly exceptional examples remained surprisingly elusive because most were stored loosely. Where tiny scratches slowly accumulated over time, the 1972 issue was produced primarily for circulation as well as for mint sets sold to collectors, yet the handling of coins before packaging often resulted in minor contact marks that prevented many from achieving the highest possible grades. Decades later, and this is where the science of numismatics becomes almost detective work, because professional graders at organizations such as PCGs and NGC evaluate every microscopic detail to determine the final grade assigned to a coin. The process involves analyzing surface preservation, original mint luster, strike sharpness, and eye appeal, and the difference between an MS-65 coin and an MS-68 coin can mean the difference between a modest collectible and a museum-level rarity. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar shares the same physical specifications as most clad half-dollars of its era, with a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters, a thickness near 2.55 millimeters, and a weight of about 11.34 grams. Its copper-nickel-clad composition surrounds a copper core that gives the coin durability while maintaining the silvery appearance collectors associate with American coinage. On the obverse, President Kennedy's portrait still carries remarkable detail when struck properly with defined hair. Lines and sharp contours along the jawline and neck, while the reverse eagle design displays powerful symbolism with spread wings, a shield representing national defense, olive branches symbolizing peace, and arrows signifying readiness, yet collectors searching for exceptional 1972 half-dollars often focus on subtle strike characteristics, because some coins from that year show weakness in the eagle's breast feathers or slight softness in Kennedy's hair detail, while the rare fully struck coins with radiant luster and clean surfaces become the elite survivors of their generation. When such coins are discovered, they are usually submitted to PCGs or NGC, where they undergo authentication and encapsulation. Ensuring that future collectors can trust the grade and condition of the piece, the slab itself becomes part of the coin's identity in the marketplace, acting as a passport into major auctions and high-value private transactions. Registry set collectors again play a major role here because they compete globally to assemble the highest graded collections recognized by grading company databases. And when a coin appears, that could become the finest known example, the bidding battles can become legendary. Whispers in the numismatic world have long suggested that an absolutely pristine 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with near-perfect surfaces and dazzling mint luster could theoretically command an astonishing $6 million if it represented a unique top-graded specimen. Such a figure might sound unbelievable to casual observers, yet seasoned collectors understand that the rarest condition coins become trophies representing the peak of numismatic preservation. The difference between an ordinary coin and a multi-million-dollar coin may be nothing more than decades of careful storage and the luck of avoiding even the smallest contact marks. If someone today were fortunate enough to discover such a coin, perhaps in an untouched mint set or a carefully stored estate collection, the correct path would again involve professional grading through PCGs or NGC followed by consignment to a major international auction house where elite collectors compete. These venues provide authentication, insurance, marketing exposure, and a trusted bidding environment capable of reaching the world's most dedicated coin enthusiasts. And as remarkable as the story of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar already sounds, our journey is about to reach an even more dramatic chapter, because the final coin in this video carries not only rarity and collector demand, but also the powerful symbolism of a national celebration that captured the spirit of an entire country. The Bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar represents one of the most iconic commemorative designs ever released for circulation in the United States, created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of American independence. This coin carries historical emotion, artistic symbolism, and collector fascination all within a single piece of metal. When the United States prepared to celebrate its bicentennial, In 1976, the government authorized special reverse designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins to honor the nation's revolutionary heritage, and for the Kennedy half-dollar, the reverse design was replaced with a powerful image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the building where both the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution were debated and signed. This design immediately captured the imagination of the public because it connected every day. Currency with the birthplace of American democracy. Unlike most coins, which carry a single year, the bicentennial half-dollar proudly displays the dual date 1776-1976. Symbolizing the 2 centuries of national history being celebrated, millions were produced for circulation as well as collector sets, including special silver-clad versions struck for collectors. Yet even with such large production numbers, the true rarity again emerges in the highest levels of preservation. The coin maintains the same general physical specifications as other Kennedy half-dollars, with a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters, a thickness close to 2.15 millimeters, and a weight around 11.34 grams for the standard clad version, though the collector silver versions contain 40% silver, giving them a slightly different composition and collector appeal. Examining the obverse, we again see the familiar portrait of President Kennedy, symbolizing leadership and resilience, while the reverse transforms the coin into a miniature historical monument featuring Independence Hall, surrounded by inscriptions celebrating the bicentennial. Collectors often examine the intricate architectural details on this reverse, including the clock tower, windows, and brickwork which must appear crisp and fully defined on sharply struck coins, yet many circulated examples show wear or bag marks that limit their grade potential, which is why pristine specimens preserved for decades in untouched conditions become extraordinary finds. Professional grading companies such as PCGs and NGC evaluate these coins under strict criteria measuring luster brightness, strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. When a coin achieves extremely high grades such as MS67 or higher, it becomes a rarity. Despite the large number originally minted, registry collectors again pursue these elite examples to complete top-ranked collections, creating competitive bidding environments whenever a new record-grade coin appears, and within collector speculation circles the possibility of discovering an absolutely flawless bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar has inspired remarkable conversations because such a coin would represent the ultimate preserved example of a historic national commemorative. Theoretical market discussions have suggested that a unique finest known specimen certified at the highest conceivable grade could reach an astonishing value approaching $7.5 million in the right auction environment, a number that transforms this commemorative coin from everyday currency into a historic artifact representing both American heritage and numismatic perfection. If someone were fortunate enough to uncover such a coin today, perhaps within an old government proof set or carefully stored bicentennial collection, the proper process would again involve authentication and grading by PCGs or NGC, followed by placement into a major global auction through respected houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where the world's most serious collectors compete. And this is where the journey of today's story comes full circle, because each of these Kennedy half-dollars reminds us that coins are more than money. They are historical documents struck in metal, carrying the artistry of their era and the potential to become legendary treasures through rarity and preservation. So before you leave, take a moment to look again at the coins around you. Check your drawers, your coin jars, your inherited collections, because the next Kennedy half-dollar you find might hold a story waiting to be discovered. And if you enjoyed exploring these hidden treasures, make sure you like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because the next rare coin we uncover together might be even more extraordinary than the ones we revealed today.